Hello, this is Abby from ollieholly.com. Welcome to day 10 of my 12 days of Appliques crochet along. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to crochet this gingerbread house. Pause here to read through the materials you'll need to make this project. If you want to follow along with a written pattern, you'll find the printable PDF in my shop on ollieholly.com. The link will be in the description box down below. To receive future updates on new patterns, sign up for my newsletter through the link in the description box down below. In this video, I'll be using this lighter orange yarn in place of the brown so that the stitches show up better on camera. To work the first row, start with a slip knot on your hook. Chain 3, so that's 1, 2, and 3. When working into a chain, I like to work into the back bumps. When you take a look at your chain, you'll see that these V's are stacked neatly on top of each other. Flip the chain, and you'll see these little bumps in the back of the chain. We'll be working into these back bumps for this row. Skip the first chain and start in the second chain. For this row, we'll be working 2 single crochet, so 1 and 1. I'll be doing the yarn under single crochet in this video. To work a yarn under single crochet, I'm inserting my hook under the second bump. Then I'm going to yarn under, so I'm wrapping from front to back, and pull a loop up. Then I'm going to yarn over, so that's back to front, and pull through the 2 loops on my hook. Let's see that one more time. I'm inserting my hook into the next chain, yarn under to pull a loop up. Then I'm yarning over and I'm pulling it through the 2 loops on my hook. Turn your piece and we're going to work row 2. To work row 2, start by chaining 1. Then we're going to increase into each stitch. So we're going to work 2 single crochet into each stitch for a total of 4 stitches. So that's 1, then back into the same stitch, 2, into the next stitch, 3, back into the same stitch, 4. And once again, we're going to turn, then chain 1. In row 3, we're going to start by working an increase into the first stitch, working 2 single crochet, then increase in the last stitch. So that's 1, back into the same stitch, 2, then 2 single crochet, so 1 and 1. So into the next stitch, 1, into the next stitch, 1. Then into the final stitch, we're going to work an increase. So 1 and 2. To set up for row 4, we're going to turn. Then we're going to start by chaining 1. In this row, we're going to start by working an increase into the first stitch, then 4 single crochet, then increase in the last. So that's 1, back into the same stitch, 2, then 4 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then into the final stitch, we're going to increase. So that's 1 and 2. To set up for the next row, we're going to turn. In row 5, we're going to start by chaining 1. We're going to be working 1 increase into the first stitch, then working 2 single crochet, And then we're going to single crochet the next 2 stitches together. So that's these 2 stitches right here. Then we're going to work 2 single crochet, then increase. So into that first stitch, we're going to increase. Then we're going to work 2 single crochet. So 1 and 1. Then we're going to single crochet the next 2 stitches together. To do so, I'm going to insert into the next stitch and pull a loop up. Then insert into the next stitch and pull another loop up. There's going to be 3 loops on my hook, and I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull it through all 3 loops. Next, we're going to work 2 single crochet, so that's 1 and 1. Then into the final stitch, we're going to increase. Turn to set up for the next row. For rows 6 to 9, so that's the next 4 rows, chain 1, then work 1 single crochet in each stitch. When you get to the end, turn your work. You can pause here to work rows 6 to 9, and I'll meet you at the beginning of row 10. Now that we're done with rows 6 to 9, let's work row 10. To start row 10, do not chain 1. Instead, insert your hook into the first stitch directly. Into this first stitch, we're going to pick up an increase. Then we're going to make 7 single crochet along the bottom. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Into the final stitch, work 3 single crochet. So that's 3 single crochet coming out of the same stitch. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Now along this side of the house, so that's just this section right here, we're going to pick up 3 single crochet. And there's no specific spot for you to work into, but I do like to just try to work into the sides of each row. So I'm going to insert into that gap right there and work 1 single crochet, so that's 1. Then into the next 2, then into that one, 3. Then I'm going to single crochet 3 times into the next space. So I'm going to work into that space right there. So insert 1, back into the same space, 2, back into the same space, 3. Mark the middle stitch of the single crochet 3 with a stitch marker. Now we're going to work along the roof up until the starting chain. So because we worked into the back bumps of the chain, you can actually see the fronts of the chain up here, and they look just like regular stitches. So along the roof, I'm going to pick up 3 single crochet as evenly as I can. That's 1, 2, and 3. Into the 2 chains up here, I'm going to work a single crochet into that first chain, then work a half double crochet into that second chain. So I'm going to insert my hook underneath the 2 loops of that first chain and work a single crochet. Then into the next chain, I'm going to work a half double crochet. Now we're going to work along the other side of the roof. And into this side, we'll be picking up 4 single crochet. And while I'm making the 4 single crochet, I'm also going to secure this tail from the slip knot into the back of the stitches. I'm laying it along the roof so that it gets crocheted into the backs of my stitches. So I'm inserting into the stitch below where the half double crochet is sitting. That's 1. Into the next space. That's 2. Three, and 4. And now I'm just going to drop that yarn tail from the slip knot and just hold it in the back. Then into the next space, we're going to work a single crochet 3. So that means into the space, we're going to work 3 single crochet. So 1, back into the same spot, 2, back into the same spot, 3. Along this final side going down, we're going to pick up 4 single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now that we've worked around the house fully, cut the working end of the yarn and pull your hook up to fasten off. Thread your yarn tail onto a darning needle and work a seamless join in the round. To do so, locate the second stitch from your final stitch. So that's 1 and 2. Insert your needle under the top loops of that stitch and pull through out the back. Then insert your needle back into the center of the final stitch and out the back. Pull through. Weave the tail into the back of the house, then trim off the excess yarn tails. Starting with a slip knot of the white yarn on your hook, we're going to make the roof. Insert your hook into the stitch marked with a stitch marker. Into that, we're going to make an increase. So I'm going to yarn under to pull a loop up. Then I'm going to lay this tail from the slip knot along the side of the roof, just so that I can secure it into the back of the stitches as I work the roof. So that's 1. Then back into the same space, I'm going to work my second stitch of the increase. And now I'm going to work 5 single crochet along this side of the roof. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And to get this yarn tail out of my way, I'm just going to trim it off. Into the next stitch, which is the half double crochet from when we worked the final round of the house, we're going to make a single crochet, half double crochet, and single crochet, all into the same stitch. So single crochet, half double crochet, then single crochet. Then we're going to work 5 single crochet along the other side of the roof. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then into the next stitch, we're going to increase. So 1 and 2. Cut the working end of the yarn and pull your hook up to fasten off. Then weave the tail into the back of the roof and trim off the excess yarn tails. If your gingerbread house looks a little misshapen, you can block your applique now. Mine looks fine, so I won't be blocking. If you need some instructions for blocking, watch the video from day 1 where I go over it in detail. Since I'm using a bunch of random colors throughout this video, I just want to insert a reminder of what the original looks like and what colors I use for the actual gingerbread house. To make the door, start with a slip knot on your hook of the door color, then chain 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Flip your chain over to work into the back bumps. We're going to skip the first chain from the hook and start in the second chain instead. We're going to start off by working 1 single crochet into each of the first 2 chains. Then we're going to work 4 single crochet into that final chain. So into the second bump from the hook, work 1 single crochet, into the next bump, work 1 single crochet, then into that final bump we're going to work 4 single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next, we're going to work into the fronts of the chains. So into each chain, we're going to work 1 single crochet. So I'm inserting into that chain there, and I'm going to work my first single crochet. Then into the next, I'm going to work another single crochet. Cut the working end of your yarn, then pull your hook up to fasten off. Make sure to leave a long enough tail for sewing. Using 2 out of 6 strands of your embroidery floss, whip stitch along the edge of the door. Start off by inserting your needle into the first stitch from the back to the front, and pull through, but not all the way through. You're going to be using that tail to tie a knot in the back later. Then insert into the second stitch, once again going from the back to the front and pull through. Repeat this all the way around the door frame. Weave the thread into the back of the door, then tie a tight double knot and trim off any excess thread. To make the gummy wreath, use a 1.75mm crochet hook with embroidery floss in your choice of color. Make a magic circle. If you need a little more help with the magic circle, I have a more dedicated video tutorial and I'll link it in the description box down below. Into the magic circle, work 12 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Pull on the yarn tail from the magic circle to tighten the circle in the center until both sides of the wreath meet. Cut the working end of the thread and pull your hook up to fasten off. Then we're going to work a seamless join in the round. To work the seamless join, thread your tail onto an embroidery needle and locate the second stitch of the round. Insert your needle and pull through. Then insert back into the center of the final stitch and out the back. Pull through. I'll be using these tails to help secure the wreath to the house later on. You can secure your door and wreath to the house by either sewing or gluing. I'm doing a combination of the two. Once the door is positioned, I'm sewing this tail that's from the slip knot directly into the spot below it on the house. And with this tail that's positioned to the bottom of the house, I'm sewing the bottom of the door to the house fully. With both of the yarn tails in the back of the piece, tie a tight double knot, then trim off any extra yarn tails. Position the wreath directly above the door. Then sew both yarn tails into the house directly below where they are on the wreath. Tie a tight double knot in the back, then trim off the excess floss. Using fabric glue, glue down the sections of the wreath and the door that were not sewn down. Allow this to dry before continuing on to embroidery and sewing the beads. Using 2 out of 6 strands of embroidery floss, embroider windows on either sides of the door. Using 2 out of 6 strands of embroidery floss that matches the color of your yarn, sew a few beads onto the house to decorate it. Tie a tight double knot in the back to secure fully. I'll be turning my gingerbread house into an ornament, so I'm gluing this loop of yarn to the back of the house. Allow this to dry a few minutes before gluing the felt to the back. Allow the glue to dry fully before cutting the applique out of the felt. If you like this video, you might like a few of my other videos too. Please consider subscribing, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!